couple of you probably remember when I ranked the US state flags. That is the most popular video I've ever made, period. Not counting shorts. Shorts obviously can get a lot more views than a lot of the long form content. But in terms of my videos, that one got so much traction. I thought it would be fun to do a video ranking license plates for the US states too, because as a kid, I would always grow up seeing which ones around here I could find. And living in Chicago, there's always a bunch that you can see given how many people come through here. We always made a game out of it. And then I came across a tier list that also included the Canadian province plates along with the Canadian territories. And I thought, you know, why not take it a full step even above that? So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be covering almost the entirety of North America, excluding the Caribbean and Central America. We'll be ranking the license plates of every US state plus Puerto Rico, every Canadian province and the 3 major territories, and every Mexican state. This, of course, is going to be based entirely around the design of the plates, legibility, color, layout, creativity, and, well, let's be real with ourselves, vibes are sometimes going to just play into it. If your state got clowned, please don't take it personally. Actually, please do. Fix your plate. These are the standard issue plates, the most up-to-date ones that I could find. These are the plates that you will get at the DMV by default. Now we're gonna be doing this list alphabetically. The states and provinces are all mixed up. This will not be by country. We're gonna be going through all of them in an alphabetical order. You guys already know how the tier system works. S tier means that they are fantastic plates, next level, super creative. A tier means that they're great plates, they look good. B tier means that they're pretty good. There's some elements about them that, you know, they look nice, but they're just kind of bang average. C tier means that they lack in a lot of different spots and they're kind of boring, but they have a couple things that kind of give them a few points. D tier just means that they suck. There was pretty much no effort put into them. So let's not waste any more time. I'm going to keep the blurbs as short as possible for these because we have 99 different plates to go through. So we're going to keep this very, very quick. Starting off with Aguascalientes, Mexico. This one's clean, colorful, and not trying too hard. The geometric pattern gives it just enough personality without looking like a carnival flyer. And I gotta give it bonus points for calling itself El Gigante de Mexico, which translates to the Giant of Mexico. It's a bold move for it being the smallest state in the country. That right there is short king energy. A tier for me. Alabama. This plate's actually kind of a sleeper hit. You get a full-on coastal scene with those bright punchy colors, like a sunset screensaver from 2009, but in a good way. It's vibrant, readable, and not trying to be overly clever. A tier. I would say that Alabama actually did really good with this one. Alaska. Alaska went minimal but majestic. Big old bear front and center. Though from a distance it kind of gives Jesus blessing the highway energy. Still, it's clean, it's focused, and it actually feels like Alaska. I would say another A tier. So far, so good. Some people may disagree with me on Aguascalientes and say it's not inspired enough and would probably put it B tier. I could see that. I would probably throw it maybe on a lower A tier. Alberta. This one's got that old school charm. A little script font, a wild rose, and not much else. It's simple, a bit bland, but not offensively so. It feels like the graphic design equivalent of a polite nod. C tier. It's respectable, but it's just not thrilling. Arizona. Sunset gradients, cactus silhouettes, and a mountain line that actually reads from across the parking lot. Arizona nailed the postcard on metal vibe and kept it legible. It's cool, like the Alabama beach plate, but with even cleaner lines and smarter color blocking. I would say the Arizona's S tier. It's desert beauty done right, and it just pulls off a cleaner aesthetic than, say, the Alabama plate. Arkansas. This one's fine. There's a shiny diamond in the middle because of the whole only diamond mine in the US thing, but outside of that, blue gradient, decent font, not much else. It's like they started a cool idea and then left for lunch. Maybe like a high B tier. It's nice, but it's kind of forgettable. Baja California, Mexico. This one is kind of giving me the energy of a DMV brochure more than a license plate. 2 maroon bars, a heart slogan, and some subtle texture. But I mean, overall it is pretty forgettable. No imagery, no personality, just a whole lot of meh. Low C tier. I mean, it's bland, but it is legible. Baja California Sur. Mexico. Compared to its northern sibling, this one's got a bit more life, some added color and visual structure, still pretty plain overall, but at least it doesn't look like a conference name tag, maybe more like a higher C tier. Trying, just not too hard. British Columbia, Canada. It's called Beautiful British Columbia, but the plate itself, it's kind of average. You get a big serif font and a tiny provincial flag doing the wave in the middle. Not offensive, but not exactly eye-catching either. I would say low B tier. It gets a pass for being clean and mildly patriotic. California. Yeah, it's plain. Just a red script font and blue numbers on a white background. But it's the license plate. Thanks to Hollywood and pop culture, this thing has a legacy. It's instantly recognizable worldwide. Design-wise, it's minimal to a fault, but legacy does boost it a lot. The reality is, it is iconic, whether you like it or not. A tier. Campeche, Mexico. This one's loud in the best way. The jungle aesthetic with the stylized jaguars and bold greens, eye-catching without being chaotic. The font's a bit quirky, maybe too quirky for quick reads, but the creativity makes up for it. A tier. I would say that it's got bite and style. Chiapas, Mexico. This one's about as exciting as waiting in line at the DMV. A tiny bit of color in the crest, but otherwise it's plain, forgettable, and barely trying. D tier. It honestly just feels like filler content between better designs. Chihuahua, Mexico. Chihuahua adds a little more flavor than Chiapas, with some extra color and effort, but it still feels like it's missing a focal point. It's not bad, it's just there. C tier. It's not terrible, but I mean, it's not really bringing the bark from a place called Chihuahua. Ciudad de Mexico, Mexico. It's got some watermark patterns and subtle detailing, but overall, pretty plain. Feels more like government stationery than a license plate, probably like low C tier. I mean, it's functional, but it's not exactly making a statement for the country's capital. Coahuila, Mexico. Coahuila plays it pretty safe. Minimal visuals with just a hint of color and a funky little design twist in the C that's honestly the highlight here. It's not bad, just kind of feels like they stopped at the halfway point. Probably like a high C tier. It's walking, but doesn't really feel like it's marching pa delante. Colima, Mexico. This one's quietly classy. Maroon and gold with a clean pattern of two birds across the top and some subtle watermarking throughout. Even the numbers have a little extra flair with their own texture. It's well balanced and polished without being flashy. I would say high B tier. It's understated, but it's good. Colorado. Green on white with a clean mountain cutout. Colorado proves you don't need to be flashy to look good. It's simple, iconic, and actually looks like the place it represents. High B tier. It's minimalism that works. Connecticut. A soft blue to white gradient, a plain serif font, and a tiny state outline tucked in the corner. It's clean, quiet, and not trying to impress anyone, which honestly feels very Connecticut. B tier. It's basic, it's not broken. Delaware. Delaware may be the first state, but its plate looks like it was the first one ever made. They just never bothered to update it. Navy blue, gold letters, and absolutely nothing else. Historical? Sure. Inspiring? No. D tier. Heritage cannot carry you that far. The District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. Red, white, and blue, because of course. And a nice nod to the DC flag in the center. You get the end taxation without representation message, which is cool politically, but design-wise, kind of flat. Like its counterparts Ciudad de Mexico, it's underwhelming for a capital. High C tier. It's more message than actual visual impact. Durango, Mexico. This plate's got that tourism poster energy in a good way. Colorful lettering, decorative patterns, and just enough visual flair to stand out without crossing into chaos. Vibrant but balanced. High B tier. Maybe low A, it's kind of walking that line. Florida, green and white with some juicy oranges in the middle. Classic Florida. The arc of myflorida.com is a fun little detail, even if having a URL instead of the state name feels a bit early internet. It's not quite California level iconic, but it's been around long enough to earn some cred. A tier. It's quirky, but it works. Georgia. Georgia's got two flavors of peach pride. The first is ultra minimal, a clean white plate with just a single peach behind the numbers. It's absurdly simple, but for some reason it works. This is a vibes-based ranking all the way. I love this thing. A tier for this one. Then there's the more scenic version. A peach tree on the left, scattered peaches in the corners, gentle hills in the background, and a sky that fades from a warm peachy orange to a blue. It's a pretty little scene, but it doesn't hit quite quite the same to me. Still, both plates are solid. I will give both of them A tier for this. One of them is stylish in its simplicity, the other one's got postcard charm to it. Guanajuato, Mexico. Big shout out to the home state of one side of my family, but man, this plate doesn't give me much to work with. Just a blue bar at the bottom and not a whole lot else. It's clean, sure, but also kinda lifeless. Low C tier. I love the state, not the plate. Guerrero, Mexico. Now this is a lot better. Clean maroon and gold accents, detailed pattern work at the bottom, and a watermark that adds texture without making a mess. It's elegant without trying too hard. I would say lower A tier. It's classy and composed. Hawaii. A clean white plate with a soft rainbow stretching across it. Simple, subtle, and kind of charming in a low-key way. It's not flashy, doesn't need to be. B tier. It's like a vacation postcard, but it wanted to keep itself humble. Hidalgo, Mexico. It kind of feels like Guerrero light. Same maroon vibe, some clean pattern work, and bold text at the bottom, but not quite as creative or striking. It looks good, it just plays it a little safer. B tier. Idaho. Finally, a state that lives up to its slogan. Scenic Idaho is correct. This plate nails the gradient from maroon to blue with a mountain scene that feels like it came straight off a postcard. It's balanced, legible, and genuinely very pretty. S tier. Idaho's out here setting a standard. Illinois. My home state finally stepped it up. I'm old enough to remember the old plates. The old plates were snooze fests, but this new one's got the Chicago skyline, the state capitol silhouette, and Abe Lincoln lurking on the left like he's eavesdropping on your commute. It's a solid upgrade, and yeah, I might be biased, but I don't care. Low A tier, high B tier, depending on who you ask. Indiana. Indiana went for that peaceful postcard look, a scenic forest with a classic covered bridge and calming sky blue gradient. It's quaint, sure, but there's charm in that simplicity. A tier. Doesn't do too much, but it gives that nice cozy hometown vibe. Iowa. Design wise, it's actually not bad. You've got Des Moines on the left, a barn on the right, grass at the bottom, and that classic sky blue fade up top. Personally, Iowa bores me to tears. So while I will give it high B, low A on paper, it's getting a petty F tier. A specific little Iowa tier right there below D, because I'm a petty bastard and the state is boring. Jalisco, Mexico. It's got some nice orange accents and a few icon elements up top, but overall it feels like it stopped just short of being memorable. High C tier. Decent effort, but Jalisco really needs to bring a little bit more heat. Kansas. This is Kansas's new plate, and they pulled off a surprisingly poetic plate. You could see at the top right corner, part of it looks kind of like it's been cut off. That's because the plate is supposed to somewhat be shaped like the state of Kansas. Blue to white to yellow gradient, a low angle shot of the Capitol dome, and the "To the Star" slogan tying it all together, which really works given that the plate is supposed to look like being at the Capitol building at dusk. A tier. Subtle, thoughtful, and way better than you'd expect from Kansas, especially given how I treated Kansas in the last video. Kentucky. This one's got a soft blue gradient and a little state outline shoved off to the side, but that navy strip at the bottom for the county name just kind of feels slapped on, like a post-it note no one bothered to design around. Maybe like a high C tier, low B tier. It's clean, but it's a little uninspired and awkward. Louisiana. This plate has a sleek script font. Black border, black lettering with some red lettering as well for the state name and for the slogan. And in the back they have a gradientish sky with a picture of a pelican. It's a definite upgrade from the plate they had a while back, which was essentially the same structure, just a white background. I'll give it maybe like a high B tier. It's pushing in the right direction for sure. Maine. So Maine had the chickadee plate, and a lot of cars in Maine probably will still have the chickadee plate, which is a nice plate. However, they have just announced not too long ago this. There is a version of this plate with the tree and one without it. I'm gonna be honest, both versions, even with the tree, suck. How did you go from a pretty nice plate to just no effort? D tier. Manitoba, Canada. This one's got a soft, welcoming vibe. Pastel-like tones, a dirt road flanked by pines, and a little bison chilling in the top right corner. Bonus points for using a maple leaf as the dot in the Manitoba. Subtle, but clever. I would say low A tier. It's calm, cozy, and way cooler you'd expect from a prairie state. Maryland. This plate's riding on the coattails of the Maryland flag, which to be fair is a great flag. There's a nice bottom fade into that waving pattern, and the script font, it's clean. But beyond that, it doesn't really bring its own design elements into this. B tier. The flag is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Massachusetts. It's basically California's plate with the colors flipped, but without the iconic font or cultural legacy to back it up. On paper, it's going to be ranked what California should have been ranked. So Massachusetts is going to be taking the fall here. C tier. Generic and not in the charming way. Estado de Mexico. Mexico. So for those of you who are unaware, there is a state in Mexico called Mexico. It's not confusing at all. Golden maroon strikes again, but this time with a pretty slick pattern in the bottom strip and a nice clean font. The little icon next to Mexico is a neat detail too. It's well executed, it just doesn't break new ground. High B tier. It's sharp, but it plays it fairly safe. Michigan. Blue and white, simple and clean. The wave shape at the bottom nods to the Great Lakes, and that wavy M ties into the state's tourism branding. I remember from way too many pure Michigan tourism ads. It's not flashy, but it's consistent across all platforms, so I'll give it a B tier. Michocan, Mexico. Pretty minimal overall, clean layout, nice font, choice for the state name down at the bottom, and a maroon bar up top for the government branding. Tidy, but it's not all that exciting. High C tier. It gets the job done, but that's about it. Minnesota. This one's clever without being loud. The irregular blue fade into white with a tree line tucked into the top right, giving the perfect illusion of you being out on the water. Fitting for the land of 10,000 lakes. A tier. Mississippi. This plate's got one of the nicest text treatments out there. The way the 4 S's link together is smooth as hell. Toss in a centered magnolia and you've got something elegant, even if a little understated. B tier. I would say the solid font game is definitely doing a lot of carrying. Missouri. Missouri's rocking a classy little wave pattern on the top and bottom. Red up top, blue down below. It's subtle, but it gives the plate a nice flow. Add in the state seal watermark behind the numbers and you've got a design that's clean with a bit of flair. Low A tier. Montana. The default Montana plate is basically a blue and white snooze fest. The state outline wrapping around the edges and a lone little bison hanging out between the numbers. You can pick from some of the older designs from 1989, 1991, 2000, and 2006. You can choose from any of those at no extra cost, meaning they're technically all still standard issue plates. Technically. However, if you don't choose one of those, you will get this one. So for this one, low C tier. Maybe like mid C tier. The little bison and the outline of Montana is doing a lot of carrying here. Morelos, Mexico. This one's kind of giving a cardboard chic vibe. A brown rectangle in the background and not much else to spice it up. The font's fine, but overall it just feels like it's missing something or everything. D tier. Functionally, it's a license plate. Emotionally, it's a letdown. Nayarit, Mexico. This one's vibrant without going off the rails. The colorful bottom strip highlights what the state's known for, and it's nicely grounded with the seal and logo up top. Bold, but tasteful. B tier. Nebraska. Bold navy letters over a clean white base, and in the background, a nice nod to the Genius of Creative Energy mosaic from the state capital. It's simple but meaningful if you know the reference. B tier. Clean, subtle, and a solid plate coming from my second favorite state, Nevada. This one nails it. The low poly desert landscape along the bottom blends sandy tones with hints of green, topped off by a crisp blue gradient. Font fits the vibe, and the little Nevada outline tucked between the numbers is a perfect touch of state pride. For me, high A tier. It's sharp, it's scenic, and uniquely Nevada without being too loud. New Brunswick, Canada. This one's got a nice little sky gradient up top and an orange swoop that adds just enough motion to keep it from feeling empty. Beyond that, there's not a whole lot going on, but it's clean and pleasant. Low B tier, probably, is what I would give this one. Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. This plate's about as plain as it gets. The only decorative element is a couple of tiny flowers growing out of the province name at the bottom, and even they look like they're trying to leave. D tier. Really nothing much of visual interest. New Hampshire. This plate keeps it simple but meaningful. The font has a nice flow to it, and the old man of the mountain in the background is a strong nod to state pride. It's not flashy, but it's thoughtful. B tier. New Jersey. Yellow to white gradient, a state outline wedged between the numbers, and that's it. It's not ugly, it's just aggressively average. C tier. New Mexico. New Mexico's not playing around. They've got 2 great standard plates. Technically 3, but the third one I was a little confused if it was actually standard, so I didn't include it. But I'll throw it up here just so you guys can take a look at it. The iconic yellow version with the red text and green accents feels bold and rooted in the culture with native patterns and that unmistakable Zia sun symbol. But then there's also a turquoise version, clean, cool, and yellow numbering, and a larger Zia sun symbol with the red center. It's got bolder font and a better contrast. Honestly, to me, the turquoise one looks amazing. A tier for both of these. I would say that New Mexico has a 2-plate powerhouse. They are very simple, but they just hit right, and it fits the desert too if you think about it, when you think of the clay buildings and how featureless a lot of them are. They're just kind of square, but color is usually what's thrown into the mix. New York. From the New York City skyline to Niagara Falls, this plate covers both ends of the state. Orange and blue color scheme is bold but well balanced, and the inclusion of Excelsior adds a classy, almost cinematic touch. A tier. It's clean and unmistakably New York. North Carolina. This plate's got a red, white, and blue theme that actually works. Reads at the bottom match the color scheme, and a semi-transparent red text lets them peek through just enough. The Wright brothers plane flying overhead ties it all together with some homegrown pride. A tier. North Dakota. This one's high-key gorgeous. A warm dusk gradient with a bison staring you down in the foreground and a distant ridge fading into the horizon. The wheat flanking the state name adds just enough flair. Doesn't overdo it, but it captures the Great Plains beautifully. Just saw one of these plates out in the wild yesterday, actually. A tier. The Northwest Territories, Canada. This plate is straight up legendary. Before we even talk about the obvious part of it, the design's already doing well. Misty blue white gradient for that tundra fog. Tree line on the left, bear standing on a rock on the right. But the kicker is that the whole plate is shaped like a bear. There's not a logo shaped like a bear on it. The whole piece of metal is shaped like a bear. It is hands down one of the most creative plates I've ever seen. And from doing a little bit of reading, apparently a lot of people think so because they're also very commonly stolen when they go anywhere south of the Northwest Territories. Instant S tier for this one. It's iconic and it knows it. Nuevo Leon, Mexico. Clean black and gold color scheme, a sleek little lion icon at the top, and not much else. Extremely easy on the eyes, but maybe a little too easy. It's visually calm to the point of feeling empty. C tier. Nunavut, Canada. This plate definitely goes for it. Northern lights in green and purple, a polar bear font, and center pink sky fading into blue snowy hills, and then the Carlingua rock formation that Nunavut is known for. Plus, the font for Nunavut is actually really nice, but as much as I respect the ambition, to me it's a little overstuffed. There is a great plate in here somewhere, it just needs a little bit of refinement. I would say, for me, high B tier. Nova Scotia, Canada. Blue text, white background, and the blue nose schooner sailing calmly in the center. It's got a touch of heritage, but not much else to catch the eye. Clean, sure, but it's missing that wow factor. C tier. It's historical, but it's kind of a yawn on wheels. Oaxaca, Mexico. This plate fits right in with the Campeche, Durango, Nayarit crew. Simple but thoughtful. You've got a decorative band up top, the state logo, and some cool artwork at the bottom representing the people of Oaxaca. It's clean, culturally rich, and not trying to be flashy. B tier. It's respectfully done. Ohio. The plate is packed. Kid on a tree swinging. Wheat field. River. Distant skyline. Probably Cleveland. Sunrise in the back and a banner shouting birthplace of aviation wrapped around the state outline with the Wright flyer in tow. It's a lot. Like a visual mixtape of Ohio. But somehow it mostly works. I would say very high B tier, maybe low A tier. It's cluttered but with intention. Oklahoma. This plate's got layers and they all hit. The red base color pops, the blue border gives it structure, and the bottom is filled with thoughtful nods to Oklahoma life. Route 66, a wind turbine, a soaring eagle, even a bottle of Coke. The white star in the center ties it together, and the moon and stars at the bottom left, subtle but sweet. For me, Oklahoma is an A tier. Ontario. Clean and straightforward. Blue text, a nice font, and a little crown in the middle to remind you it's still got that royal tie-in. But beyond that, there's not much else going on with this plate. C tier. It's respectable, but kind of forgettable. Oregon. Oregon's plate knows how to use color. Blue skies, purple mountains, deep bluish trees, and that one bold green evergreen dead center to anchor the whole design. It's scenic without being overwhelming and clever enough to stand out. A tier. Pennsylvania. Navy stripe up top, yellow stripe down below, and a little outline of the state in the corner. Simple, clean, but it's definitely not trying to win any design awards. It has more color than the bare bones plates, that's for sure, but that's about it. like a high C tier maybe low B depending on the day. Prince Edward Island, Canada. Plate is giving humongous Delaware energy. White background, green border, and the provincial crest awkwardly floating in the center. Pretty much it. Feels more like a placeholder than a finished design. D tier. Puebla, Mexico. Puebla keeps it modest. Magenta bar across the bottom left featuring a group of sombrero wearing figures raising their fists, but the rest of the plate stays fairly quiet. It's not bad, it just doesn't offer much. C tier. It's got the message, just needs a little bit more design muscle. Puerto Rico. Clean and simple. Black text over a backdrop of one of the island's iconic forts. Not a lot going on, but here's the cool part. There is a second design you could get. You have to ask for it. One that has green and the governor's mansion in the back. But the cool thing about this plate, you can actually order them in Puerto Rico to be Euro-sized plates. It is the only place in the entire United States that you can legally get Euro-sized plates. And of course, because you can ship your car from Puerto Rico to the mainland states, you can legally have your car in the United States with Euro-sized plates. Some have already been spotted, for example, this one in Washington State. It's the only place in the US that legally is able to do it. Virginia was talking about it and considered it at some point, but that whole idea got scrapped. As for this design, probably B tier. It's a decent design, but the whole format option of you being able to get Euro-sized plates give it quite a few points. Quebec. White background, blue text, fleur-de-lis up top, and the slogan Je me souviens, which means I remember. What do I remember? That this plate is pretty bland. It's got heritage, sure, but visually, dry toast. D tier. Kind of like French food without the butter. Querétaro, Mexico. This one's got a cool modern vibe. Two-tone blue sections up top and bottom with some subtle patterning, and the state name tucked just off center beneath the plate number. It's simple but sleek. B tier. Quintana Roo, Mexico. This plate plays it real subtle. Light pattern work at the bottom with low opacity, giving it texture without clutter. The font for Quintana Roo is bold and modern, helping it stand out just enough. Low B tier. Rhode Island. Pale blue background with a slightly darker wave rolling through the middle. So subtle it's almost hiding from you. The anchor in the top left is a nice nod to the state's maritime roots, but beyond that, not much else is going on. High C tier. San Luis Potosi, Mexico. This plate keeps it simple with a green palette, green stripe at the bottom for fields, a charming old town in the center, and a waterfall cascading behind it. Bonus points for the state outline up top that suspiciously looks like a schnauzer. High C tier. Saskatchewan, Canada. Green text on white with a single wheat stalk in the middle. That's the whole show. It's functional but painfully plain. Looks more like a placeholder than a finished design, to be completely honest. D tier. Sinaloa, Mexico. This one's running on empty. Just some reddish brown text and a couple of crests, but no real design to speak of. Not ugly, it's just barely present. D tier. Sonora, Mexico. This plate's been around in one form or another for a while now, and it still holds up okay. A little coastal desert scene at the bottom, cactus, a goat and rock, a whale tail in the water, and a sun overhead. Plus, that wavy blue band in the top right adds just a little extra hint of flair. Like a high C tier. South Carolina. This plate goes full state flag mode. Palmetto tree in the center, crescent moon on the left, with a navy gradient sky fading into a darker ground. It's simple, clean, and instantly recognizable if you know the flag. For me, low A tier for this one. No unnecessary clutter. South Dakota. Points for the script font. It's slick and gives the plate some personality. But the Mount Rushmore backdrop, that's where things get messy. Locals aren't thrilled, and honestly, it's easy to see why. It's a little bold and makes the plate a little hard to read. Plus, I mean, with Mount Rushmore, the way that it's executed as just an image, I don't know, it's just kind of the obvious move instead of trying to spice it up a little bit. C tier. Maybe high C tier. It's on the right track, the execution just needs to be better. Tabasco, Mexico. This plate's got some charm. A floral pattern along the bottom that echoes traditional Mexican dress, with that same motif subtly worked into the numbering. It doesn't overdo it, but it still brings cultural flair. B tier. Tamaulipas, Mexico. Not much going on here. Just a red bar along the bottom with a bird-shaped cutout, I think, and a couple of gold accents. Clean, but a little too quiet to really leave an impression. C tier. Tennessee. Navy blue, minimalist, and straightforward. The state's name tucked into the outline up top, and the tri-star symbol from the state flag holds it down in the center. It's clean, just not particularly bold. Low B tier, high C tier. It's a solid foundation, it could just use a little more flair. Tlaxcala, Mexico. Bright magenta and purple band at the bottom with a wavy, irregular shape gives it some visual punch, but beyond that, it is pretty bare bones. Nice touch of personality, but not quite enough to carry it. C tier. Small plate, small state, small statement made. Texas. Black and white with the barest design effort. State outline in the middle, Lone Star in the top left, and that's about it. For a state that prides itself on being bold, the plate is surprisingly lifeless. D tier. Utah. This one stands out in a good way. The bold arched font pairs perfectly with the delicate arch artwork in the background. Bright colors give it energy without going full chaos. Though it might be a touch hard to read at a distance just given the saturation, the contrast with the dark blue still makes the numbering stand out enough to be legible. For me, this one is A tier. Veracruz, Mexico. Black and white with the tiniest splash of color in the state logo. That's all you get. It's giving me Texas level blandness, which is saying something. D tier. Vermont. Solid green, white border, and a tiny tree in the corner. That's the whole thing. It's plain, uninspired, and pretty much exactly what you would expect from Vermont. D tier. It gets the job done. Virginia. 2 shades of blue and a slogan that says Virginia is for lovers. But there ain't much to love about this plate. No detail, no character, just words on a white background. D tier. Washington. Simple but clean. Red lettering stands out nicely, and the left-aligned state name adds a subtle modern touch. The faded blue silhouette of Mount Rainier in the background is tastefully done. Font could be more exciting. It looks just kind of like its Arial font, but overall, it works. High B tier for me. West Virginia. Clean and composed. Navy and orange stripes give it a professional, almost academic look. It's simple, but it doesn't feel lazy. Not flashy, not boring, just solid. B tier. Wisconsin. Feels like what Texas could have been if they just tried a little extra hard. Red lettering, better font for the state name, and some small state repping icons in the corner. Barn, forest. It's not bursting with creativity, but it's doing enough. High C tier, probably. Wyoming. Using the state flag as the background is a safe but solid move. It looks good, but doesn't bring anything new to the table. The cowboy silhouette between the numbers, though, that's a nice personalized touch. For me, low B tier. Yucatan, Mexico. Lime green text for the state name is the only real pulse the plate has. The rest is black, white, and painfully basic. It's clean, sure, but completely forgettable. D tier. Yukon Territory, Canada. Red lettering with a light blue stripe gives it a crisp look, and the Klondike up top adds a little bit of frontier personality. The gold prospector on the left is a cool historical nod that gives it some character. For me, this one is B tier, maybe even like a highish B tier. Lastly, Zacatecas, Mexico. Soft desert mountains painted across the bottom gives the plate a calm, artistic vibe. The color scheme is consistent and works well with the state name, and while it's not packed with detail, it doesn't need to be. B tier. Serene, simple, and quietly beautiful. And there you have it. Every single standard issue plate of the states, provinces, and territories of the 3 major North American countries. If your plate got disrespected, or you actually agree with me, let me know down in the comments. And if you somehow made it all the way through, consider subscribing for more bad design takes and questionable opinions. Anyway, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, follow me on all my socials. All those links are down in the description. Let me know if you guys want to see any more tier lists similar to this or of a different design topic. Definitely willing to give it a try. I hope that wherever you guys are, whenever you guys are watching today's video, you have a great and wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.